Welcome back to the Sire channel, your #1 source for pop culture news, music entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news, live sessions, or new uploads. Let's dive into today's hot topics. Let's kick things off with Real Housewives of Atlanta star, Porsha William. This week, Porsha has been everywhere, from The Breakfast Club to The View to Sherri Shepherd's talk show, promoting the new season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, RHOA. But what's really dominating the conversation right now is her divorce from Simon Guobadia, the Nigerian businessman she married after a whirlwind romance. The legal drama surrounding their relationship is heating up, and it seems like this divorce battle is far from over. One thing that has caught people's attention is the claim that Simon was detained by ICE, though there's been little to no update on his status. While we don't have a clear picture of what's going on with him legally, we do know that Porsha's divorce from Simon is ongoing, with the two of them in the middle of a very public and bitter court battle. Many fans and critics are pointing to this legal battle as the reason behind Simon's detention. Let's look at some details that were shared by our friends over at It's On site regarding what led up to Porsha's decision to marry Simon, and how their prenup negotiations caused significant delays. According to an affidavit from Porsha's former attorney, Jordan B. Foran, Porsha Williams wasn't about to walk down the aisle without the necessary receipts. The negotiations for Porsha and Simon's prenup reportedly dragged on for months, mainly because Simon failed to provide detailed financial records. These were important for the couple to move forward, especially given their past experiences and what was at stake in the relationship. For those unfamiliar, Porsha's previous marriage ended disastrously, with her being left without much of a financial cushion. So, it seems like she took a cautious approach this time around. Porsha reportedly delayed the wedding multiple times. Initially, it was supposed to happen in August or September of 2022, but due to Simon's reluctance or inability to provide financial information, the wedding was delayed until November 17th, just days before the big day. This doesn't seem like an impulse decision. It seems like a strategic move on Porsha's part to protect herself in the event that things didn't work out. Despite her cautious approach, some fans have criticized Porsha for her decision to continue with the marriage despite several red flags. The fact that Simon delayed providing financial information for months has been cited as a huge red flag. When it comes to prenups, it's vital for both parties to be transparent about their financial standing, and Porsha was right to hold out for that information. However, some viewers wonder why Porsha decided to go ahead with the marriage after seeing all these red flags. It's easy to say, Porsha should have known better, but in reality, relationships are complex, and sometimes people are willing to overlook troubling signs, especially when love and emotional investments are involved. Still, knowing all that we know now, it's hard not to look back and think that Porsha should have trusted her instincts more in this situation. But let's not forget, Porsha Williams isn't the only one who's faced public criticism for their relationship. Her ongoing legal battle with Simon is just one more chapter in the saga, but let's move on to another big topic that's been making headlines recently. Now, let's talk about another big name in the reality TV world. Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kandi Burruss and her husband, Todd Tucker. The couple has been building their restaurant empire for years, with their popular eatery, Blaze Steak and Seafood, located in southwest Atlanta, becoming one of the must-visit spots for both locals and tourists. However, recent developments suggest that their restaurant business may be in some serious trouble. According to reports, the landlord of Blaze Steak and Seafood has filed a lawsuit against Kandi Todd and their restaurant group, claiming that they owe over $154,000 in unpaid rent and other charges. The complaint, which was filed in Fulton County State Court, alleges that Blaze has failed to maintain the property and pay the rent and repair charges stipulated in the lease agreement. The lawsuit breaks down the specifics, including $56,500 for repairs to the premises and a $10,000 overhead fee. It's not the first time that Blaze has been involved in some questionable financial or maintenance issues. Back in 2020, the restaurant was briefly shut down after receiving a health inspection score of 55, which is considered a failure. After addressing the issues, ranging from pink residue in the ice makers to food safety violations, The restaurant was able to reopen just 2 days later with a much improved score. Fast forward to late 2023, Blaze was given a much better health inspection score of 93, so it seemed like things were on track. But behind the scenes, it seems like the restaurant is facing significant legal and financial challenges. The most recent lawsuit includes invoices for several costly repairs, including water damage, microbial remediation in the kitchen, and other issues related to the restaurant's upkeep. The landlord, Mornego Pacific Incorporated, claims that these repairs were necessary because of the restaurant's failure to maintain the property. On top of that, the suit alleges that Blaze has not kept up with paying rent for months. What makes this situation even more complicated is the fact that Blaze's social media accounts have been largely inactive, and their website has different operating hours listed than those found on Yelp. There have been reports from customers saying that they arrived for reservations only to find the restaurant closed without prior notice. This lack of transparency and communication is not just a logistical issue, it's a major business problem. It's important to acknowledge that Todd Tucker has been heavily involved in the development of these restaurants. Although Kandi Burruss is the more prominent name, Todd has always considered these restaurants as his baby, with the couple working together to make them successful. However, as these legal issues continue to pile up, it raises the question of whether the couple has the right infrastructure and management in place to handle such a large-scale business operation. The issues surrounding Blaze and OGG, Old Lady Gang, don't just involve the unpaid rent and maintenance problems. They also point to a deeper problem with the way these businesses are being managed. The lack of consistency with their social media and operating hours suggests a disconnect between the restaurants and their customers, which is troubling for any business, but especially for one in the competitive restaurant industry. There's a sense that the reality TV star power behind these restaurants may have been a huge driving force in their initial success. When Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker were prominently featured on RHOA, people flocked to their restaurants, excited to eat where their favorite reality TV stars dined. But as they've distanced themselves from the show, it seems the visibility and drive behind the restaurants may have diminished. The unfortunate reality is that without that constant visibility on a national platform like RHOA, it's harder for businesses like these to maintain consistent success. Fans and patrons who used to come out in droves are now finding that the businesses are not as reliable or well managed as they once appeared. Even though Blaze was one of the most popular restaurants in Atlanta, the lack of maintenance, the overdue rent, and the slow response to these issues could cause customers to look elsewhere. It's disappointing to hear that businesses like Blaze Steak and Seafood are struggling, especially when they've been marketed so heavily and have such a strong fan base. The combination of legal battles, inconsistent customer service, and lack of transparency is a recipe for disaster. While I don't believe Kandi and Todd Tucker are purposefully neglecting the businesses, it's clear that their management has suffered from a lack of attention. Meanwhile, Porsha's continued struggles with Simon Guobadia are a cautionary tale for anyone entering a high-profile relationship. While Porsha was right to demand financial transparency, the signs of trouble were clear long before their wedding, and it's a little hard to feel sorry for her when the red flags were waving so prominently. The battle between the two continues to unfold, and as fans, we can only watch from the sidelines as these public figures navigate their personal and business turmoil. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on both of these stories. What do you think about Porsha's decision to move forward with Simon despite the clear red flags? And what do you think about the struggles surrounding Kandi and Todd's restaurant empire? Let's continue this conversation in the comment section below. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news and updates. See you next time.